Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And one of the voice actors on Dragon Age the Veilguard says that people really wanted to see it fail because they're bad people. They're just bad people.
Right. Once again, because it makes so much, you can't take responsibility for your own failures. It's always somebody else's fault, right?
Yes. So we're gonna talk about this because this is part of a bigger conversation. In fact, I talked about this with The Last of Us in the video last week. I don't think you were in that one, but they always want to pinpoint one grievance that gets mileage on social media, and then they think that that is indicative of all the potential consumer base. What you don't realize is that the vocal minority, and it is a vocal minority of people that are, online complaining about something, but a lot of times they're a small sampling of a larger silent majority.
Exactly.
A bunch of people who are not into this game, and they're not going to say anything about it. They're just not going to buy it.
Because a lot of normies aren't even paying attention to what people on social media are saying or not watching YouTube videos.
No.
They're just deciding if they want the game or not, and they have absolutely no idea about controversy, and they still turn their nose up at it and don't buy it. And that's the problem. And instead of acknowledging that and being, maybe our game sucked, maybe it wasn't as widely appealing as we thought it was going to be. No, it's because the chuds online hated it.
Chuds.
I guess that's the word for the day is chud.
Chud. So let's talk about this. Before you get into any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
This kind of reminds me of Assassin's Creed Shadows, too. Like, Assassin's Creed Shadows was a huge failure, and they were trying to blame people online. I'm like, no, people just took a look at it, didn't like it. Hell, the new Doom game came out, and it sold less than 1 million copies because the price tag was very high. It was like $70 for Doom. And there are a lot of other issues with it. I guess the system requirements I haven't played it yet. I was actually interested in this one, but people are like, it's all right. It's okay. But the system requirements are really high for it. And I'm like, $70? I'm like, you can still get Eternal for a fraction of that. And there's so many boomer shooters out there that are probably better that you could buy for a lot less. So just the general public wasn't interested, right? But let's blame the 10 Twitter accounts that we have a problem with for tanking the game with the general public, or the movie, or the comic book. We've got people out there now that themselves used to be comic book critiquers or comic book industry pundits, blaming YouTubers for the decline in sales of the comic book industry. And I'm sorry, YouTubers really, truly do not have that kind of power. We really don't.
They think we do, but we really don't. The grand scheme of things, and we've mentioned this before, you might have some impact in your circle, but a lot of these people have the similar circles, and there's overlap. So there's still a limited audience, and it's a fraction of the mainstream audience. Most people don't even know who these YouTubers are. Most people don't even know anything about the issues going on social media. They're just going about their day and deciding if they want to watch that show, go to that movie, play that game, and they're not. And that's not, that's indicative of the company making it, not of the fan.
All right, so this is coming from Fandom Pulse, John F. Trent. Fandom Pulse is basically, doing what Bounding in the Comics used to do, because John Trent's over there now. So, Dragon Age the Veilguard voice actor Alex Wilton Reagan claimed that people wanted to see the game fail because they're really bad people. They're just bad people. Talking to IGN, Reagan was asked about the reception to Dragon Age the Veilguard. She said, "I feel absolutely devastated for BioWare as a studio that they got such mixed reactions to the game." Again, that would be the general public. The general public not buying it. They sold.
So if you loved it, you are one of the good general public people. But if you didn't like it, you're just one of those bad actors, bad people.
It's all Grum's fault.
That's what it boils down to. I guarantee you the majority of the audience doesn't even know who Grums is.
No. That's what I'm saying. Like, all this stuff, even the whole Gamergate thing, all that stuff, it is a tempest in a teapot. What happens is it's a very vocal minority of nerds that have a social media platform that are speaking their opinions, which also, echo the opinions of the public at large. Looking at channels like Nerdrotic or whatever, they're like, well, Nerdrotic's got 1 million followers and he's destroying pop culture. I'm like, in the grand scheme of, no offense to Gary, I have no problem with Gary, but in the grand scheme of things, even if the best case scenario, you have 1 million angry people. Well, those 1 million angry people didn't cost you hundreds of millions of dollars. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think he'd agree with you.
yeah, because it's basically just it's a very small sampling of the larger issue, which is the general public is going to look at Snow White and think it looks like dog shit, and they're not going to go see it. Right? They didn't go see it because Gary told them not to. They didn't buy that comic
Or we told
book,
them not to.
Or we
one
told
of the
them
other
not
YouTubers
to.
out there. And a lot of the YouTubers, they have overlap across all the audiences. So it's even smaller number than, you can't just add all their subscribers up and say it's that many people, because there's a lot of those are overlap.
Yeah, there may be, I would say, at the best case scenario, I'm going to say best case scenario, the people that really follow this stuff intensely, probably maybe 100,000, maybe.
Oh, I think it's more than that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it might be a little bit more than that. But I'm saying,
compared to the millions and millions and millions,
compared to the millions
market,
and millions of people it takes to actually tank a major product like a movie or a AAA game.
But anybody who doesn't like it is a bad person,
right?
A bad actor. And it's like, well, now you're just labeling a bunch of innocent people who just didn't like the game. Maybe it's a you problem, not a them problem. What's the common denominator here?
So they go on to say, I also think a lot of people, kind of wanted to see it fail. People wanted to see it fail because they're like, it's not like Dragon Age. They're pushing identity politics in this game, and some of the people associated with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're saying they wanted to see it fail, either because they're really bad people on the internet, of which there are unfortunately many, as we have discovered, but people were attacking the game before it was released. It's ridiculous. People attack games and movies and TV shows because they look at a trailer or they look at what's coming out, or more often than not, what the people associated with the project are saying and how they conduct themselves on social media. That actually has a huge impact on whether or not people are even going to give something a chance.
I agree. And if you finish the rest of the sentence, they're talking about, they were attacking before it was released. How do you judge a game? How do you judge a game, a film, a TV show, a book, or anything else before it's actually released? You can't. I'm like, but that's what trailers are for. You're supposed to look at the trailer to decide if it's something that you would be interested in.
Exactly.
Yes, you're supposed to judge to see if you want to buy it. You can't just tell people, you have to buy it first and see if you like it. Because a lot of people aren't going to do that, because they're like, I'm not spending how much money on this game that I think might be dog shit, just so my opinion counts.
That's just it. The games are so damn expensive now that and people have been burnt so many times that trailers. This is an idiotic stance to take, because, like you said, the purpose of the trailer, the purpose of the marketing, is to get you interested enough to plunk down your money for this thing, basically sight unseen. Like, you kind of know what you're getting, but you're never going to know the full extent of it until you buy it, which I understand that. But that trailer's got to be good. It's got to give you some indication of what the game is. And when in this case, what we heard about was, well, I'm non-binary, my pronouns, and also look at the diverse team working on it. And
right. And some people were like, I'm out, because I'm even if it's going to not have that. Yeah. No, but it's because, like, I don't know what's going to be in it. And then there's a certain type of we've been seeing products you can put out when you have this kind of talk before it, and that's usually been shit. So I understand it, but I love this. Like, you shouldn't judge it till it's actually released, which means you have to consume it. But a lot of people aren't going to waste their time consuming something they know they aren't going to like. And I love it. That's an idiotic stance to take. Well, I would argue your comment was an idiotic comment to make.
Yeah. I only ever want to see the folks from BioWare thrive because I adore them. Basically, they all got fired, most of them, because the game was such a financial failure. And
you want to see them thrive and do better. Make sure the games don't suck.
I mean,
maybe give people what they want.
It's not hard to make people happy when it comes to media. I mean, I used to think that maybe there was a little more alchemy involved. It's really not hard. You do it's just like any other product, and people don't like to hear that games or media or comics or animation, whatever, that it's product. But at the end of the day, it is product. You can put a little bit of yourself into it. You can pour your heart and soul into it, but it's still product. And you have to have a customer willing to pay for that product. How do you get them to pay for that product? You give them what they want, or maybe give them what, they don't know they want, but that they will love it. Right. But you don't give them something intentionally that they're going to hate, and then tell them that they're awful because they don't want to pay for it.
Well, that's what kind of happened, because I think people were more forgiving. They were more lenient. They were more like, okay, it isn't 100% what I wanted, but I'm not going to say it's bad. I'm going to give it a chance. They used to be that way. And then it came to the, I don't know, Ghostbusters 2016, Marvel Comics, 10 years ago and stuff, where they started just changing everything and pushing agenda, and then just perpetually got worse and worse and worse. And after a while, people just didn't go to Disney movies because they knew that they were going to get more preach and less entertainment. And with Rachel Zegler and Snow White, I think that's a big part of it. They knew that they were going to get more preach and less entertainment.
Yeah.
And you kind of, now people are really being overly critical in some cases of media because you've turned them against you just because for years you told them they're terrible people if they didn't like it. It wasn't like, yeah, I don't really care for it. Well, you're a bigot. And you have people behind the shows, games, movies, calling them names. You have their, perpetually triggered fans calling them names. You have the media calling them names.
Yes.
And eventually this gets to the place where I don't want to be anywhere near anything that might potentially be like that because I just don't want to invest any more energy, time, or stress into it. And it used to be you give people a chance, and now they don't even do that.
Yeah, fool me once, and that's basically it. And anything that has a whiff of wokeness or whatever, people they're like hard pass. And it might not be that bad. I mean, I've gone back and I know I've talked about it multiple times, but like the Dungeons and Dragons movie, right? The people associated with it and the trailers made it look like hot trash. The movie itself actually was pretty good. If they had marketed it differently, if they had cut a different trailer, and if the people associated with the movie had kept their damn mouths shut and just said, hey, just come see our movie. It's a lot of fun. It's like D&D, come see our movie. Instead, they're like, no, we think it's okay for guys to be effeminate and to emasculate men. And it's like, no, that's anti-marketing, right?
They just get tired of it. They're just they're so tired of it that they just don't even, if they even get the potential vibe, or it's coming from a company that has shown them time and time again they're going to push this stuff, they're just walking away and closing their wallets. And it's your own fault. And then you have the person coming out, so you get this thing out, no one likes it, there's all kinds of stuff shoved in it, and then you're like, well, you should have had to play it first. I'm like, why would they give you money? They don't have to give you money.
No,
you can watch the trailers. You can watch the commentary. You can watch the clips and decide from that and make a fair, stance. Mm-hmm. You don't have to give them money.
The whole purpose of a trailer, the whole purpose of promotion and social media and all that is to entice someone to give you money. And what you're doing is the opposite. I mean, this is like marketing 101. It's like, I thought these people were college educated. This is a very basic, like, you need to talk someone into parting with their money. This is how you do it. You're like, hey, you're going to love it. It's a good thing. Come buy my thing. Don't you want my thing? Yeah, you do. Come buy it. And now they're just like, no, we don't want the bigots touching our thing. I don't want any bigots touching my thing.
I don't want bigots touching my thing either. Hey, here we should, speaking of marketing, we should have a commercial, Clownfish TV, come for the news, stay for the crazy shit that's going to come out of one of our mouths.
I don't know.
I don't have a degree in marketing, it shows.
It's actually better than most of these game companies are doing. Again, we talked about in the last video. You want to know why everybody's going back to retro games. You want to know why they're going back to games that were 10, 20, 30, 40 years old? Because you don't have to worry about the shit. You know what you're getting. Oh. Even if it's a game you've played before, you know what you're getting. No surprises.
I mean, a lot of times, like, I'd rather watch, either if I'm not watching anime or K-drama, which I know when I'm getting usually, and they know what the audience wants and they give it to them. Or I'm usually watching stuff I know I love from years ago that I adore. I'll watch it over and over again. I'll read books that I know I love or whatever because I know what I'm getting.
Yeah. That's just it. I'd rather play an older game. I mean, I'll give some stuff a chance, but like, especially with the time sink and the cost, you pay $70, $80 for a game. Now Nintendo's like $90. Yeah. Barely an inconvenience, for a game. You sink dozens of hours into it just to find out that it's dog shit. It's like I could have played through one of my favorite JRPGs like 2 times over, and I already own it and not have to save myself the aggravation, right?
Well, I mean, for me, I'll go see new things. I'll go see new things if I see a trailer and I think it looks interesting. A new game, a new movie, a show, whatever. If the trailer looks interesting, like I want to see the new Librarian show. I think it looks kind of cool. From the trailer, I will decide. And then if I don't watch it right away, I'll wait till I hear word of mouth from people I know and trust. And then I'll be like, hey, if they say it's good or bad, then I'll decide from that if I'm going to waste my time or my money. And sometimes my time is worth more than my money. It just depends.
Yeah.
But they're not bad people because they don't like your shitty game.
You're a bad person. This doesn't work anymore. People are like, you know what? Yeah, fine. Fine, I'm Satan, I'm Hitler, whatever. I don't care. I'm Satan, I'm Hitler, and you're broke. So
And I don't care how talented they are, how hard they worked on it. 'Cause I'm sure they worked hard on it. But I'm tired of hearing this excuse. You give people stuff that sucks. They don't want to support it because it sucks. And then you say, well, someone worked really hard on it. Well, you know what? If I take a dump, I worked really hard on it. Does that mean you should consume it? No.
Eat my shit, bigot.
You know what I'm saying? It's like you could work really hard on something, and I'm sorry, and it still sucks. You shouldn't tell someone it's good because the takeaway is going to be, oh, it's great, when it's not because they worked hard on it. And I'm sorry, I get that disappointment. I do. I understand where you're coming from. But if I do something crap and no one wants to buy it or watch it or whatever, well, then that means that I did something wrong, and I might have worked hard on it, but it wasn't good enough.
So I'm sitting here like, okay, how would this work? Like, I look at these cooking shows, right, on Food Network, like Chopped or whatever. And could you imagine like one of the chefs like getting savaged by the judges and then being like, but I worked really hard on it. I know it tastes like shit, but how could you bigot? You hate my pie because I'm gay. Isn't that right?
That's what it is, right? Yeah. It says to a gay judge.
To a gay judge. I think like most of the judges are
No, but I'm just saying. It's like, you know,
yeah,
they do that too. They do that too. They can say, you know, I'm standing up for women, but I am a woman. And then you're an internalized misogynist.
Well, it's like I read the other day. It was so damn weird. The showrunner of Handmaid's Tale is a dude, and they're asking this dude about like the woman's journey and all that, and he's like going on like some like, you know, women's lib major whatever, and I'm like, this is a dude talking about what it means to be a woman. And I'm like, what the frick is going on here?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And they do that all the time. They would if it was a gay judge, they'd tell the judge that they were a bigot.
Yep.
Anyway, and they're against gay people. Are we going to wrap this up?
Yeah, we're going to wrap this up. Yeah, this game, huge failure. Lots of people got laid off, and that's it. That's business, right? Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.